Welcome back and thanks for tuning in. I'm Nick, and this is Super Simple Security Principles, where we talk about digital security principles that are easy to understand no matter your skill level. We are part of the I Hate Passwords Digital Self Defense Academy, or IHP Academy for short. All right. Today we have episode 17. We're building on what we started last week. Email exhaustion. Email sucks. We know that. As always, joining me today, our Master Guardian, Makane. Woo!
Yo, Nick.
Okay. I always start off with how we got here. And I just want to start with a question. How would you like to only get like 10 spam email messages a year? A year. Think about that. 10 spam emails a year. I remember when I first talked with Makani about this. I'm a numbers guy. I have no idea how much spam I get. I can't keep track of it all. It's ridiculous. But when he told me that he only gets 10 a year, I about died. I was like, what? Today only? Nah, just teasing. I wouldn't do that to you. Today, we have finally got him to come clean and disclose his secrets. So, Makani, let's get to it.
Nice intro there, Nick. I I do apologize for not sharing my system with you or anybody sooner, and I'll explain why that is. But first, a quick history of how it's worked for me. Because in 2011 was when I got sick of spam. And that's when I started using the strategy that I'm going to discuss with you today. Now, in the beginning, I wasn't sure exactly how well it was going to work for me. And then after a few years of it working really well, I started to wonder instead, how long is this going to keep working well? And it's been 13 years at this point, and it's never worked better. Even as spam levels in general for everyone continues to rise, mine stays at about 10 a year.
Notice that. He's still teasing us even more. All right, Makani, that's enough teasing. Come on, man. How are you avoiding the spam?
So it's pretty simple. In one sentence, here's my strategy. Every time I need an email address on a website, I give them a unique one. That's it. Now, for our longtime listeners, this might put you in mind of some previous episodes where we've talked about similar strategies. Even as far back as episode 2, we talked about unique passwords. And very recently in episode 14, we talked about using unique credit card numbers. So now here's our third case, unique email addresses. Now I want to be clear, this doesn't mean you have multiple email accounts that you have to go and check. Think of it more like how snail mail works. You only have one street address, but multiple people live there. And any letter that comes to your house, it can be addressed to a specific individual. Similarly, you have only one email account, but as many email addresses as you need. And so then the beauty comes in is if you get an email address where you start receiving spam there, you cut that one off, you block it. And then it doesn't matter how many times that email address gets sold or passed along. And the part that makes it even cooler, at least for me, is I know who sold it, which means then I can cut off contact with them because I don't want to have business with them anymore.
Right. That's awesome. Cut out the cats right at the beginning. Boop. You sold it. See ya. Okay, so we're essentially layering up our email just as we did with passwords and credit cards. Sounds easy enough. Still just one account. Why isn't everybody doing this?
Well, there's a bunch of reasons, but the biggest one that we're going to focus on today, and the reason I don't talk about it, or haven't previously at least, is because it costs money. And if there's one service that everyone seems to be on the same page about and expect to be free, it's email. Now, for myself, I've been paying for email since 2013 through a provider called Fastmail. And I love them for a lot of reasons, but one of the biggest is what we're talking about today, spam prevention. And honestly, the tools that they provide are what make my system even possible. And no, I don't get any money from Fastmail. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I'm just a longtime fan.
So how does this compare to what I've got now? Using Gmail or other email providers, is it worth the money to pay?
Absolutely. It's true there are some free ways to get unique email addresses, including Gmail. It does let you have some unique addresses, but with some massive limitations, honestly. It's not an obvious feature or remotely user-friendly even once you do find it, and it doesn't work at all websites. And I'll admit I haven't tried every free option out there simply because Fastmail has worked so extremely well for me. But the few I have tried have had downsides that I wasn't willing to accept. In fact, the only reason I've even looked at them at all is because I wanted to find a free option for all the people that I help with this sort of thing. Because I've always known how huge of a stumbling block it is to suggest to people that they pay for email. With all that, I'm just going to share how much Fastmail costs so you can decide for yourself. As of today, I just checked on Fastmail's yearly plan. It costs $5 per month for an individual, $8 for a couple, or $11 for a family of up to 6. And I think it's worth every penny. So now that we've gotten all over that, Nick, what would you say is your takeaway from today?
Look, I saw how I layered up my security when I started using unique passwords and having a password manager level that up for me and using that tool. So you convinced me. I'm in. I see the power in using a unique email address. We live in a world where email is necessary. We have to admit that. It's how we log into accounts. We use it to prove our identity. As much as we want to ignore email, we can't. Now, if your email inbox is anything like mine, it's full of spam and other crap I don't care about. I know I get fraudulent emails. The threat for my security is sitting there waiting for a weak moment. If you're comfortable with an inbox full of spam, please continue using your free email account. Go for it. I won't try and sell you otherwise. But if you want the spam to stop, it's time we start talking about other email account options for you. Take a moment to think. Do you want to search through your inbox to find the one important email you need, all buried in that mountain of spam?
Yeah, well stated. I would just add this. Spam has never been worse. And sadly, it shows no signs of slowing down that I can see. But my defenses against it are holding strong. I feel like it's time for me to spread the word about Fastmail and join the battle against spam.
All right. That's our show today. So guess what? You know what time it is. It's our call to action. Connie, what's our call to action, bud?
I want you to ponder these questions. How much time and energy do you waste because of spam? How much does just the sheer knowledge of that overflowing inbox weigh on your mind? How much nicer would it be to check your email if it only had messages in it that you cared about? And you think about all those things, and what is all that put together worth to you? Are you willing to spend money? Maybe invest some time up front to save even more time and headache later? When you're ready to slay your spam, if you want help, please come join us in the Security Dojo.
Okay, that's our super simple show today. If you're enjoying the podcast, you'll love our Security Dojo, the best place to level up your digital defenses. Makani will guide you every step of the way. To find out more, visit helpmegetsafe.com. You can also find the link in our show notes. Thank you for joining us, and make it a great day. Bye-bye.